Good afternoon, everybody. It's a dog. Yes, we're dressed in red today on a Monday. How's everybody doing? It's the 8th of good old April 2019. Good to be alongside of you. We're T-3 shows. We have my good friend Claire Benjamin's going to be joining us in a couple of seconds talking about her latest project. She has many, but she's here today to talk about a new one. And we certainly hope that you enjoy the show, because don't forget, folks, after this week we got John LaManna, and then we do an hour special for the finale on the 22nd of April. We're looking forward to it, and when we come back after this little clip, we're going to do a little shout out to Jerry Klingerman. Well, a pleasant good afternoon, everybody. It's a dog with you with another edition of Weber This Week. As mentioned, Claire Benjamin's in the house. We'll get to her in about a minute and a half or so. But you know what, folks? As you all know, I work part-time at Del Lago. Claire knows it. We have a good time out there in promotions. And, you know, there's a lot of security guards out there, I guess. Jimmy could put up his picture when you get a chance. I get asked a lot from people, would you give me a shout-out? Would you give me a shout-out? Would you give me a shout-out? Well, you know, I gave a shout-out to Mac the Knife, my good friend Brian in the Bubble, along with Denny Fairchild. And I did give them shout-outs because they're good friends of mine, and we're trying to get the picture up. But I got to show this picture. And as soon as Jimmy... Oh, here we go. That's my man, Jerry Klingerman. Now, Jerry stopped me at the burned area a week ago and said, how about me? What about my shout-out? Well, I need to tell you, folks, I only give shout-outs for people that feed the dog. That's my nickname. And, you know, Mac the Knife, we call him Mac the Knife. I do anyways. His name is Brian. Good guy. You know, one night he said to me, why don't you come out to dinner? And he took me out to dinner and ordered me, you know, filet mignon, shrimp cocktail, picked up the tab. That's the kind of guy that I like. Yeah. And I'm going to give him high rankings, you know what I mean? He's going to be one of my closest friends. And the other guy in the Bubble who's a good friend of mine was Denny Fairchild. And Denny Fairchild, of course, Jim, put that picture back up. Denny Fairchild asked me to come down to Trumansburg, where he lives, and yeah, leave it up for a second. And he, believe it or not, showed me the Trumansburg Walmart store, which I was impressed. I didn't even know they had one there. And then he asked me to come to his house and cook me a steak on the grill with shrimp cocktail. Now, the reason I'm going with the food aspect, Jerry has never bought me a hot dog, you know, who's on the screen right now. And to be honest with you, Jerry, I only know about 40 of you folks out there in the security because I don't work second and third shift. However, you're not really in the high rankings of the dog, with all due respect. I think the world of Jeff Longo, I think the world of Judge Judy, these are people that work security. I love Marilyn Johnson, a.k.a. Marilyn Monroe. I love Ernie. He's a great guy. But, Jerry, you don't match up, buddy. So what I'm saying to you is I even like Billy Slayton. I have him in the top 10 or 12 of my list of all friends at the security guard. And Jerry's a good guy. He thinks he's the mayor of Lyons, where I was born, but he's really not. So, Jerry, I'm giving a shout-out. You need to feed the dog to get a higher ranking from me than you presently have. And Jimmy, I'm just going to post this. Out of 40 best friends at the security station at Del Lago, Jerry Klingerman, you asked for a shout out. Here is the Weber ranking for you. Can you read that, Jim? Oh, yeah. 38, right, Jim? Okay. So out of 40 people that I know at Del Lago, you rank 38th, and you can move up, because I'm only on the air a couple more weeks after today, and we may slip you in the top 20. All right, Jerry, I hope you liked your shout-out. That is it. He wanted one, we gave it to him. I don't think he likes his ranking, but that's too bad. All right, my dear, it's good to have Claire Benjamin, a good friend of mine, along with her husband, Mark. Been friends for quite a few years. Mm-hmm. First off, Claire, thank you for coming in to do the show.
Well, thanks for having me again.
I appreciate it. So let's talk about, I'm going to get this right now, let's talk about the wonderful, exciting, your newest project, and that is the Rue Claire Be Nice Project, NYS 414, Pollinator Habitat, preserving our local pollinators. Yes. So talk a little bit about why is that important?
Why is it important? You talk about your steak, right?
Right.
Not a lot of people will actually connect pollination with cows.
Mm-hmm.
Cows eat alfalfa, and
Sure.
alfalfa relies their existence in pollination. Pollinators is important because they're responsible for our food production.
Right.
They did. Why am I nervous?
Take your time. Just relax. Just relax.
I had this in my head.
Okay.
Well, it's very important for our health, for our economy, and also for our environment. It's important for our health because they made 35% of what we eat. For example, the apples,
right.
Cabbages, pumpkin. Like I said,
Yeah.
you would never connect cows. The milk that they produce and the cheese that we have here in the industry. They're also important to our agriculture. There's 7 million% of agriculture land here in New York. 37,000 of farms.
Right.
I have to pause for a second.
Yeah, that's okay. Take your time.
Yeah, I have to pause for a second.
It's all right.
I need to gather my thought.
It's okay.
So I could get my information right.
Sorry.
So there's about 37,000 farmers in our industry that rely their income and also their farming and crops to pollination, such as the apple industry, cabbages, pumpkin. 3/4 of our flowering plants is based on pollination. So that's important for our ecosystem. So anything that you see that's growing is actually based on pollination.
Really?
Yes.
So now no, seriously, and we're going to talk about a couple of other specialties that she's involved in as well. But let's talk about what you had sent me an email regarding you coming on the show today about the fact that Earth Day cleanup, meaning April 27th or May 1st, you're looking for potential landscapers, volunteer landscapers,
yes.
gardeners, beekeepers, educators, people with the same interest and mission. So anybody can help out. And how would they contact if they wanted to be interested in helping out?
They could contact me at my cell phone, 702-897-8909, or they could email me at ruclaireflx@yahoo.com. Also, they could reach out to me in Facebook messaging. In regards to that, I actually speak and reach out to Ben Zimmerman at AES. So I wanted to do this right.
And Ben was on the show a couple weeks ago, did a great job.
Yes, a couple weeks ago. I'm actually glad to see him. And so he's coming out actually on Wednesday to help me out to structure of what we have to do, what kind of native plants that we're going to plant into the magical forest. So he's coming. His company also will be providing some equipment and manpower, which is very nice. It's not such a big area, but we could use some manpower. And also Katie Fuller of Grease Iron, she's putting her team together on May 1st. They're going to spend their day off to help out. So I kudos to them. So bees, the radius of bees pollination is between 7 to 10 mile radius. And before she even knew that, she already agreed to do this. And she understands as well the importance of pollination. Anything, like I said, anything that we consume based on pollination.
How long have you been involved in this project? When did it start?
Well, I noticed my concern.
Right.
I started last year, but the concern started in 2012 when I noticed that when I started, I have 100 lavender, and then in each plant there's at least 30 to 60 bees. And then as time goes on, I noticed the decline of it. So I got interested curious of what's going on. So there's this, they call it CCD. It's colony collapse disorder, which happened in 2012. So ever since then, I've been concerned about that, not just because of the lavender. It's just because it's important because you notice the difference of the crops of the lavender, and also the yard. It's different, and a healthy pollination is a healthy land. So.
And I got to tell you, she always brings gifts for myself and Jimmy when she there. We got some pictures. Thanks, Jimmy. I always bring up. And Jimmy, we got a little picture here that you brought in today, some nice chocolates, and it has Rue Claire on here, her beautiful ability to make great chocolates. So I'll be bringing them home, keeping away from Mary. Just kidding, Mary. I'll bring them home. And she also brought a shirt, which we're going to show. And this is a nice color. I like this one. It's got NY 414. And that's part of the project.
Yes.
Which is neat. So she brought some of that. So we have chocolates, and we have a T-shirt, and a whole lot more. So, I must tell you, and we are close friends, and she's always been special to come on the show when I've invited her on. But what people don't realize, and maybe first time you've seen her or met her or understand what she does, this is not all that she does. She is a chocolate, amazing, extraordinary individual. Is her design of chocolates, her ability to make them and make them for big parties if people need them or for special events.
Yeah.
That's something she also does. Also, your ability with cocktails to do different things. So explain or give her a little review of all the things that you're involved in, so briefly they understand. Because you're short in stature, but you're big in talent. So
see, this is the pressure you put on me. That's why I get nervous.
That's all right.
I'm second to the last on your show and all this.
You're involved in a lot of stuff. So explain to our viewers the stuff that you really are involved in.
So I started as a chocolatier. Well, I actually started as a lavender farmer, and then I shared that with the industry and shared that. And then I become a chocolatier. It's a farm-to-table concept, but I don't discriminate the good ingredients if it has to be from, a pistachio from Italy or something. The concept is farm to table, artisan chocolate, and also 2 years ago we started the bubblery, which is a farm to table. We use the fresh ingredients, local ingredients such as berries. So that's, I think, why also it's important for us. Like we all here in the Finger Lakes, we love this farm to table concept. We love our industry, and we are in a very agriculture mecca. So it's important for us to acknowledge the decline of the bees, their importance. Without them, the things that we enjoy the most, the steak that you enjoy the most, it would be economically impossible to sustain, and economically impossible to sustain the population, and also it will be very expensive for you. And
now, do you have plans to do some special things for Easter coming up in a couple of weeks?
I try not to, actually. I said this before, but I have some private orders that I already fulfill. So I'm happy with that. I try to minimize to take Easter as a break, but it hasn't happened yet. Eventually, but I mean, it's fun. It's fun to do it.
And down the road it'll be Mother's Day and Father's Day, and I'm sure you'll have some little special orders for those events as well.
Yes, I do classes for Mother's Day and Father's Day. Actually, there's a plan for Father's Day, possibly in a distillery. So that's still in the talk. So
I tell you, folks, she's short in stature, but man, she's got talent, this girl. And she's very shy and bashful about it as well. Hey, this is Weber This Week. T-3, and just to give you a reminder again, we got John LaManna coming on next week to rock the place with a couple of new songs. He's just coming off back surgery, but I see he's out entertaining, so we'll get an update on his health. And then, of course, the 22nd will be the finale. Jim's allowed us to do a longer show than normal because it's the last one. It'll be an hour show probably in that area. We have Dave Barnick, mid-70s, I'm guessing. I got a call into him today finding out when I hired him to come help me do sports. I talked to Jack DiPalito, Mr. Clyde. He came to WSFW Sports in 1985. Greg Cotterill will be here. He was the engineer. He graduated from Jimmy's alma mater, Syracuse University. He joined WSFW in 1980. I talked to Greg over the weekend. And if anybody knows where Joe Houck is, I know Joe used to live over by St. Pat's, across the street, and a couple houses down. I haven't seen Joe forever. He used to be our stat man. We got him on my team to be a stat guy. So if anybody knows where Joe Houck is, call Finger Lakes 1 and let us know, and Jimmy can pass it on to me. I'd love to have him come in and be a part of the finale. And the reason we're going to spend an hour is we got so many stories and so many funny things that have happened in our broadcasting for decades. And I think you're going to really enjoy it. It's going to be a lot of fun and a lot of laughter. So Dave Barnick, Jack DiPalito, Greg Cotterill, and of course we'll have some fun. That'll be on the 22nd. As we call it quits for the dog. Hey, let's take our commercial break and pay homage to the great sponsors that make this show possible. Del Lago Resort and Casino has something for everyone. 2,000 slot machines, 99 gaming tables, The Vine featuring top national music and comedy acts. The dining options, the Great Portico by Fabio Viviani, the Farmers Market Buffet, the Social Cafe and Bar, and the 14,000 square foot European-style spa. Del Lago offers massages, body treatments, and facials, plus a full-service salon. Visit DelLagoResort.com for more information. Cayuga Lake National Bank, offices in Union Springs and Aurora, a fine sponsor of mine for over 35 years. Great staffing at Cayuga Lake National Bank. Check them out. DA's Liquor on Bridge Street in Seneca Falls. Amy Padula and her team will find the right spirit for you every time. When you stop in, tell Amy the dog sent you. By the way, the Padula family has been a sponsor of mine for 33 years. Bostrom Farms is a butcher shop focused on providing fresh local meat to the Finger Lakes region. The retail store is located on Routes 5 and 20 in Stanley. They offer a full range of pork, beef, and chicken products that you can feel real good about. Buying food for your family should be fun. At Bostrom Farms, we put the fun and trust back into buying meat. The McGee Diner, located off New York State Thruway, exit 41. The McGee Diner has earned their reputation as a popular family restaurant, serving country fresh home-cooked meals daily. Stop in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and check out their menu at McGeeDiner.com. And I thank Gary and Kathy Schlegel for their fine support of Weber This Week. Seneca Metals is an award-winning company that has earned a reputation of going above and beyond to protect the environment and support their community. As an EPA inspector once said, their operation is head and shoulders above the rest. The Child Advocacy Center of the Finger Lakes is a child-friendly location where allegations of physical or sexual abuse are responded to by a multidisciplinary team of professionals. The team works together to conduct a thorough investigation and to provide necessary support services to children and their non-offending caregivers with a goal of minimizing further trauma to a child. The Newark Pilots are the perfect game collegiate baseball league, a minor league team with a major league ballpark. Season ticket packages available at NewarkPilots.com. The Omen Theater on William Street in Lyons. See what's playing this week at theomentheater.com, a fine sponsor of Weber This Week. The Wilson Press in Seneca Falls. My good pal Rich Rickey and his team can handle all of your printing and mailing needs. Visit them online at wpress.com. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Dog Show on a Monday, the 8th of April, 2019. Hope you're all having a good day. Hey, I always talk about the weather when I come on and do my show, but it's nice. A little windy, though. I got my clubs in the trunk. I was telling Jimmy, I got my spikes. I bought new shoes a couple years ago. I haven't played in a couple years. I can't wait to see. Jimmy just told me during the break he's going to give me 15 shots aside for $1. I can't wait, Jimmy. You'll easily pick up $3. I'm not sure I can get it airborne, but I do go off the over 70 tees. So just so you know, Jim, we have that right at the club. I understand 70 or higher. So I'm actually looking forward to getting out and trying to swing the club. It should be fun. Hey, by the way, for you basketball nuts, tonight at 9:30, I can't know why they start these games so late. 9:30, Texas Tech. How's your bracket working out for you, ladies and gentlemen? How many people selected Texas Tech to be in the final two? Raise your hands. I don't see anybody raising their hands. Texas Tech versus Virginia. Virginia, the only number one seed remaining, obviously. Vegas, who takes a lot of money, and this girl was from Vegas, came out of Las Vegas. You know, there's a lot of money in those sports books. 1.5 point favorite, Virginia, which surprised me. I thought it'd be more. 1.5 point favorite, Virginia. And by the way, I saw a story today, Jim and Claire, where a young man out in Vegas went to a sports book where you can bet legally, obviously. He put down $1,500 months ago and picked Texas Tech to win the NCAA championship. And if Texas Tech wins tonight, he will win $320,000.
What?
Yep.
Yeah.
How about that, Jimmy? Well, you got to have nerve. You put $1,500 up there. But that's pretty impressive. Hey, before we get back to Claire, a reminder for a big event coming up. I'm looking forward. I know my wife, Mary, is as well. It's coming up, the spring celebration to benefit the Pathway Home. I don't need to tell you. I know Claire agrees with me. The Pathway folks do a phenomenal job when people are in desperate need, as their health becomes really critical. These folks really help out. They're having a big celebration at the Seneca Falls Country Club this coming Thursday night. Again, it's going to be at the Seneca Falls Country Club. It starts at 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock, couple hours. It's going to be at the Seneca Falls Country Club. That's Route 89 in Seneca Falls. The music will be provided by the Lipker sisters. Basket raffles, appetizers, cash bar. The tickets are only $30 a piece. You can get a hold of them at Cicino's in Waterloo, also North Street Pharmacy in Geneva, any of the Pathway Home Board members. So please make note of that. Also, speaking of Claire and her husband is a good sponsor along with Seneca Metals. Got a camouflage egg hunt coming up this Saturday, April 13th, between 3 and 4 o'clock at the Seneca Meadows Educational Center. That's Route 414, Seneca Falls. Test your family's powers of observation as you scour our lawn for camouflaged eggs. The family team that finds the most eggs wins. It's a free program, and it's a family program. That's coming up this coming Saturday. Hey, speaking about eating, I was talking about steak dinners earlier. But let's not forget about a great sponsor that's sponsored my program in the month of April. They've been on several years. They do a 3 or 4 month run. Cicino's, my good friend Sal and Kimberly Franzone. Live, laugh, eat well, the Italian way, the Cicino's way. They know how to do it the best. They have locations in Waterloo, Geneva, and of course out at Del Lago, where they are just slammed. Matter of fact, we went there the other night, had dinner at Cicino's, and obviously it was a phenomenal meal. Well, let's get back to my guest today, Claire Benjamin, who's talking about the Be Nice program or project that she's involved in with other people. Okay, my dear, the magical fairy forest pollinator habitat. Talk to us about that.
All right. So, well, you asked earlier how I become beekeeper, and I told you that last year.
Sure.
So when we saw the tremendous positive impact since we put the beehives last year, I thought about why stop there. I want to raise awareness in regards to encouraging the population of our pollinators. And when we're talking about pollinators, we're not just talking about honeybees or wild bees. There's about 450 different local and native pollinators in New York State, which are hummingbirds, ladybugs, butterflies, bats, moths. So those are part of the pollinators. So we are actually creating this habitat. We are sharing our property where the land where we could actually create a path and plant native plants where we provide shelter and food for our local pollinators. So I said, why don't we make it fun to raise awareness for the visitor to come in? So we would put like fairy forests, fairy houses. And along with that, I even thought about, Mark was surprised to hear about this last night. And I said, I've been thinking about this, but I share with him. It's like, oh, by the way, we're doing a outdoor library too. And he said, what is the outdoor library? So it's pretty much a post that, you know, would be out there for them to enjoy. That place, the fairy forest, I want it to be a place where people, this is what I call it scientifically. It's ecological science with human social science relationship. What it meant for me is that giving back to the nature and us being reacquainted and appreciating the nature. And that's exactly what the forest I want it to be. I want them to sit there and gather with their friends. And I also want to encourage the local school to learn, to encourage their student to bring what they're learning in school in science of the pollination, weather, planting, and everything to come by. We'll reserve a tree for you where you could plant and get those kids to be hands-on and really connect that this is not just a text. It's out there, and you know, it's for us to care.
And I tell you what, I mean, not because she's a guest on my show, but I got to be honest with you, I've never seen anybody as excited about the project she's involved in. I think she averages about 90 minutes of sleep a night, maybe an hour. It's amazing. She just is. You remind me of that ever-ready bunny. You know that bunny that just never runs out of battery.
See, I actually got better this year. I got better since the last interview because I Since I turned 40, it kicked in right away. It did. I was like, okay, physically I cannot do this anymore. So I've been better. And then I told you, Sunday, I was like, I'm going to cook dinner right away. 6 o'clock, everyone's been fed. And I don't know what happened. 4 o'clock in the morning this morning, I'm still awake. Wow. And that's partly why I'm nervous today. And I apologize. I hope that I deliver what... useful. I hope it's useful. If not, I mean, we're going to provide some information in our website and Facebook that what it is. I know in some part I stumbled in the beginning.
It's okay. Well, listen, don't worry about it. But just a reminder, this is the Be Nice Project, NYS 414. Why is it important? Earth Day cleanup, reaching out for volunteers, landscapers, gardeners, beekeepers, educators, people with the same interest and mission. And you can come out on one of 2 days or both days, and that is April 27th or May 1st, correct?
Yes, April 27th from 11 to 5, and then May 1st at same time, 11 to 5. And then at the end of the day, we're hoping that they will stay and we'll provide some refreshment and celebration of our hard work. So, and then they'll be part of that. It's a community project, and I hope it grows. And
well, I do too. I'm sure you're involved in it. I'm sure it'll be a success.
Thank you.
Because you'll drag them in. I know you will. You have that magical touch.
You have to bring Mary. Yeah.
You have that magical touch. Well, listen, we're almost out of time today, but I really, as I get ready to depart from the broadcasting world, I certainly, and I've enjoyed all 50 years of it.
I know, congratulations. It must be bittersweet for you, though.
Well, it is. Jimmy approached me at Parker's about 8 years ago, and he said, why don't you come on Finger Lakes One? And that's what really triggered me to come into this arena, and it's been fun. Obviously the difference of doing this show is people see who you are versus the radio when you could go on and nobody would really know who you are. But it's been fun. I really enjoyed it. I'm going to have a lot of memories on the last day because it'll probably hit me hard. But, the beauty of it is that, as I told people, and I told this to Jim, not bragging, but when I was 7, I had this eye accident I had when I was recovering from keeping the right eye, or the left eye actually, workable, because it was a terrible accident where I had lost 95% of my vision. I actually had 2 dreams in life: work at Gould's Pumps and become a sportscaster. So, I mean, if you think about it, I was at Gould's, and I never used the term work at Gould's Pumps because my friend John Scanlon always reminded me, dog, you were at Gould's for 44 years. But then I also, got involved in WSFW, won the audition, and the rest is history. So, yeah, it's going to be bittersweet. But I'm glad Jimmy and me hooked up, and it's been a pleasure doing this show. And, I'll throw a plug out right now, as we only have a couple more weeks to go. And next week, of course, John Lamont, and then we do our finale. I'm sure Jimmy's open to anybody who would like to come in and fill this seat. And obviously, Jim's got a lot of podcasts on this network. And, Jim, I would agree, right, that you can certainly talk to anybody about a potential of coming in and doing a show. And it could be basically topics that you can discuss with Jim, and he'll do all the design work. And so there's somebody that can fit in this chair. If you want to do a 3 o'clock show on Monday, I'm sure that slot's going to be open. Or you can work on another time slot that Jim works on with you. So, again, if you have interest, and that could be, guys, gals, 21 or 41 or 61 or 81, doesn't matter, man or woman, it has a passion to do a talk show. I urge you to talk to Jim about it, and it doesn't have to be my time slot, or it could be. It's basically whatever you want to do, because I'm sure Jim would allow you to be a part of it and do whatever you think is worthy, because we do have a lot of great podcasts here with our team on Finger Lakes One. So, dear, I appreciate you spending time with us. I hope you have a great Easter in your family.
Thank you.
And I can't believe that Henry's 10.
Yes.
Wow. He's getting so big so fast.
His hand is about as big as mine.
Well, listen, you have a great Easter coming up, and looking forward to seeing you. And say hello to Mark again when you're outside. All right?
Thank you, and say hi to Mary. And congratulations.
Well, thank you, and don't you worry. And I want to put this up again. She brought chocolates. She always brings us a gift. There you go, and a nice little shirt publicizing NYS 414. All right, ladies and gentlemen, for my engineer and owner, Jim Senacropi, and our great guest and good friend, Claire Benjamin, this is A Dog. We'll see you next week. John Lamont rocking the joint.